Cadillac has just unveiled the all-new Vistiq. This is the latest in Cadillac's onslaught of EVs, and it slots in between the Optiq and Escalade IQ as a mid-sized 3-row SUV comparable to the gas-powered XT6 model. In this video, I'll go over everything we know so far about the exterior and interior design, as well as the mechanical and performance specs that the Vistiq has to offer. Then I'll give my thoughts on whether or not the Vistiq is the right move for Cadillac right now. I'm Creech, and this is Creech and Cars, where I talk about car news, history, and culture. Let's get started with the exterior design. Overall, I think Cadillac is just now getting the whole art and science thing down. Probably a key aspect that has changed over the past 20 years is the lighting technology, and that really allows new Cadillacs to stand out and accentuate the front and rear fascias. The front headlights and vertical running lights look like a slightly smaller version of what can be found on the Escalade, and the center grille-like portion is where the magic happens, with the lighted portion and logo. This is now a trademark of Cadillac's electric vehicles, and I think it looks really high-end, and it makes the car look really special at night. The rear lights have sort of a two-piece design that looks similar to the Lyriq, but it's toned down some here, and I actually think it looks better than the Lyriq's lights. The door handles have the same flush design as other IQ models, and the roofline slopes back a tad more than the XT6 and Escalade to help out with aerodynamics, but give up a little bit of that boxy look that is sort of trending now with SUVs. For now, those two pictures are the only official images that have been released of the Vistiq, but this is GM we're talking about, so we actually have all the puzzle pieces right now, but we just need to work a little bit to put them all together and find out what the interior will look like. I think it's pretty safe to say that the Vistiq will essentially be a more spacious version of the Lyriq, with less similarity to the Escalade IQ, which has a tremendous amount of screen area and is significantly more expensive than the other IQ models. That being said, the Vistiq should carry over the same 33-inch semi-continuous screen found in the Lyriq that merges the gauge cluster and infotainment screen. The main design language for the rest of the cabin should mirror the Lyriq as well. I'm personally a big fan of the Lyriq's interior. I think for once a Cadillac interior looks and feels modern and high-end. It still has a lot of the classic Cadillac cues, and maybe a lot of people don't see them, but I think Cadillac has tried to rely so much on its history in the past instead of moving forward. With the electric cars, it seems like they're throwing in the callbacks, but in a much more modern suit that still just looks good on its own. It's certainly far more luxurious than the Tesla Model X and Kia EV9, and more on par with its main rival, which I see as the Mercedes EQE SUV. As far as features go, you can expect 3-zone climate control with heated and ventilated front seats and heated rear seats. The third row will probably be pretty tight and only useful in a pinch, but with the seats folded down, there should be around 80 cubic feet of space. For an electric SUV with a proper, spacious, usable third row, you're just going to have to wait for the Escalade IQ. The 19-speaker AKG audio system and Super Cruise will also be available as options. In terms of performance specs, there's nothing concrete yet, but it's reasonable to assume that the Vistiq will still be built on the Ultium platform and offer a base rear-wheel drive version, with all-wheel drive being available on higher trim levels. On the Lyriq, the single-motor setup produces 340 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque, while the all-wheel drive setup totals 500 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. Not crazy, but more than enough for smooth acceleration. I would expect the Vistiq to have similar numbers and do 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds. With a 102 kilowatt-hour battery, the Vistiq should be good for about 300 miles per charge, with the all-wheel drive version taking a small hit in range. The ride should consist of both a smooth Cadillac feel with the multi-link front and rear suspension, combined with the tight handling and low center of gravity offered by the Ultium platform. The Vistiq will also offer multiple drive modes to give more adjustability to each driver. This is something that, again, is finally more in line with the luxury market and less of Cadillac just relying on what it's been doing for so long. More specific information will be revealed over the next year, and production should start in 2025, with the first Vistiqs likely being 2026 model years. By then, I would expect the average Vistiq to cost around $80,000, but we'll just have to wait and see for exact pricing details. So with all of that in mind, is the Vistiq a step in the right direction for Cadillac? I think so. As I said earlier, I like the design, and while the performance numbers don't pop off the screen like they do for some other EVs, the Ultium platform offers more than enough performance and range for day-to-day driving, and it's certainly in luxury car territory. The Vistiq is part of Cadillac's plan to have an electric SUV in nearly every segment so that it can attract luxury SUV buyers of all kinds. Cadillac sales have been pretty stagnant over the past 10 years, but they're not declining like they once were, and the average age of new Cadillac buyers is decreasing. No offense to my older viewers, but a younger average buyer age matters from a business perspective because many people are loyal to brands, and the younger they get in, the more likely they are to continue buying Cadillacs in the future. In addition to changes to the gas models, EVs also help to attract more middle-aged buyers. This segment is rapidly expanding, but for now it looks like the Vistiq's main rivals will be the Model X, EQE SUV, Lucid Gravity, and Kia EV9. The Model X has a full-size price tag, but is really only a tad bigger than the Vistiq, so I think buyers will cross-shop between the two. The Vistiq seems like a better value than the Tesla and the EV9, with its far more luxurious interior and similar or cheaper price tag. I think the Mercedes EQ SUVs will give Cadillac the most trouble. Mercedes still offers a more traditional luxury experience, but it has also been able to retain its desirability during Cadillac's decline. The EQE SUV will likely be very close in price and features to the Vistiq, and the major differentiating factor is going to be design. Electrification does provide Cadillac a solid opportunity to regain the market share it once had, and the execution of these next few IQ models is of utmost importance to the brand. So there's everything we know so far about the all-new Cadillac Vistiq. Let me know what you think about the Vistiq in the comments below. On this channel, I talk about car news like this, as well as history and culture, so if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.